Okay, folks, welcome to Championship Sunday here at HCS Fort Worth. Golden Boy and Walshy on the mic as we are so excited to bring you FaZe Clan versus Shopify Rebellion. And oh my god, we're already starting things off with 3 members down for FaZe. Cykul seems like he's picking up right where he left off last night.
And also just looking at Rayne, how well he played that situation. He knew if someone was sliding over into bomb center like that, there was going to be a lot more resistance met, and he just backed down even though he had half shields. So just buying as much time as possible for his teammate, Cykul, to flank and get those kills.
So impressive. He's been great all tournament long, and I think more people are just going to have to be paying attention to what he brings to the table here. Shopify Rebellion starting this one off hot, though. Great disengage as he identifies 2 players pushing inside of the tower. He does have the help to boot, so this is going to be a pretty big fight now. Want to try and see if he can get as much damage as possible, and great help there for Cykul for Mental is going to open things up on this side of the map.
What a great setup, too. Just waiting for that teammate to come around. They both push into control where they know some resistance, and then every single time they're getting these kills, Shopify Rebellion's in that hill immediately. They have so much time on this bomb center hill, which is generally so entirely exposed. And I can't tell if this was a purposeful play by RyaNoob to delay some extra time, or if he was just trying to go out and slay and not let his team get up into a bad position. So there could be 2 different mindsets there as to jumping out of that hill early.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And I think it goes without saying that, when it comes to RyaNoob, anything truly is possible. He's the type of player that will just find those kills and find the opportunities, but so will Renegade, especially when he has a shock rifle on his person. He is nailing these shots.
And this could come back to bite Shopify Rebellion. FaZe Clan are taking this as a challenge, saying, all right, if you got that hill early, whether that was because you're trying to play time later on in the game or whether you're trying to get control, we are going to punish you for that. And here is a chance now that FaZe Clan just need 1 round of slays, and they're getting this hill.
Yeah, well,
Shopify Rebellion just step their toes right into it, get that first hill on the board.
They knew they had to do it. They just couldn't really afford to give them much time. But also, too, they were holding that tower side on the push. So they had the elevator spawn and then held tower. So all that looks really good for Shopify Rebellion. FaZe identified that, and that's why they're sending some resources, or at least they were sending resources to the Whirlpool to try and push these players further back inside and maybe go for a pinch. But as it stands right now, this is Shopify Rebellion with map control pretty handedly. You got to see how FaZe Clan breaks this, because even in this position here, he's a very strong angle that he can hold if he's not careful.
Cykul has just been a turret, laying shots on 3 different players, holding down this crucial position during the C-plat hill. Just doing absolutely everything right there during that time. Even though it didn't transition to a bunch of time, he's just holding down and doing so much damage that FaZe Clan aren't able to make the moves that they want. They're finally able to clear him out of control, but at this point, Rayne's got his backup.
Ooh, hit him with the purple haze there. Renegade now trying to stay alive in this fight. Smart play there from the young gun and Halo Mental to try and challenge that one, but he's actually end up going to get challenged and removed from the situation. SnakeBite and company continuing to patrol back here by Hydro. And this is exactly the position that FaZe wants to be in here to try and see if they can get this control.
Maybe. I mean, they definitely have hill time now, but it's a situation where FaZe are matching in slays, but getting completely outworked on the objective front. They are about even in slays, yet Shopify Rebellion have about 75% of this hill already captured. That's not a spot you want to be in. You can't put yourself in a position where you need to outslay 2-to-1 in order to make it even in hill time.
Exactly. It's important to note, too, like, I have to go back to that play that Cykul had earlier that had just benefited them so much time. Even though, like, he was by himself, even though he was pulling all this attention, it was still time that FaZe was having to put toward removing players like him from those problem positions, and that just gave Shopify Rebellion a lot of time here on the board. That being said, as we reflect on what's happening here, FaZe Clan, they are in a pretty solid spot, but you always have to be cautious about those flanks, and that's where Mental decides to punish here. So they're going to try and hold this tower down yet again.
Yeah, Frosty was in a good spot for that long-range shot, but decides to rotate over towards control, and I like this play now that the defense has been broken through. You can't afford to get a full map control or setup.
Did you see that?
Yes, yes, I did.
Actually sick. That was such a sick play there, but really heads up from Frosty, identifying that this was not going to be a fight that he could win, and using that grapple shot to give him the height there. Big play. Now, though, as Cykul tried to stay alive, he's going to go ahead and give a shot with the shock rifle as well. It's going to open things up potentially for Shopify Rebellion to be able to put bodies inside of this one here. Rayne's got the support. He's waiting for him to come across to the nades. Doesn't really get to punish him there. A few players going to be scattered about as Rayne's looking for the target.
Let's be real. This next battle probably decides who gets this hill point. whoever wins this fight right here, FaZe are going to be able to close up the hill, or if Shopify can somehow secure these kills, they should be able to secure these next 10 seconds. But it looks like trades are going in favor of FaZe Clan, but the shock right from Cykul has something different to say, and that's going to be Hill going in favor of FaZe. We're going to see a tie here, 1-1.
Yeah, great call there, Dave. That right there, and I think FaZe Clan obviously identified that as well and was like, all we have to do is just kind of pace ourselves in this push and just whittle them down one by one, because if you stagger those spawns, it's just going to be better for you. And Renegade, what a beautiful shot in the 1v1 BR fight against Cykul. You definitely want to see the Young Gun try and win those battles to keep them positioned here in Whirlpool, but when you play against Renegade, I mean, the man just knows how to live.
So much damage. He's been no shields for about the last 12 seconds, just dancing back and forth there over at Turbine. Still staying alive there, holding down Needler and trying to help stop this push from the catwalk.
Good try there from Cykul. He tried to get the stick. Doesn't work out for Frosty. A little too squirrely out of that one there. Jukes him a little bit to the left side. Here comes Rayne playing the catwalk. Got two players, one by Orange Pipes, one long haul as well. And then you have the rest of them all hanging out by elevator. This is a really difficult position to break through. And you got to try and see if you can get a little bit of that early damage to try and break that setup, but they're just not getting through that door, Walsh.
No, the slays from FaZe are too strong, and they are being incredibly objective efficient. Now that we've seen the second half of that second hill, and then right here on the third hill, they've just been completely dominating. And it's not like they're outslaying super heavy. They're up by about 8 kills or so. And look at this patient play here from Frosty. What a interesting maneuver there. I guess just holding down that angle in case somebody else walks around the corner, just knowing.
Yeah.
But it's interesting that when he did decide to make the push, they didn't quick check his left.
Yeah, that actually was quite interesting. I think what he was hoping for was just really sliding, get the melee, and then just bail from tower. He just took way too much damage. And well, that being said, though, it's those little details that I think, like, I like what Frosty was doing. I like the ideas that he tried to implement in that particular situation. And, you know, it's those things like that. When you go for those plays, I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I think maybe the other thing I'm not taking into account is just Frosty's understanding of audio, just realizing he doesn't have to always check left if he knows footsteps are coming, and he knows somebody is not going to be like crouch walking up the steps when they have a player shooting all the way from top control. So I'd love to pick Frosty's brain one of these days and hear, you know, a lot of his insights onto his decision making.
Well, especially on the main stage as well. I mean, you know, having now just done it, it's kind of hard to hear certain things. So I think when you hear those audio cues, you got that sound cranked up all the way to try and see if you can get those little bit of details, right? And it's really been the devil in the details for FaZe Clan thus far. They do have that lead, but watch out for Rebellion. And hate to see it. World 2 with a big fight win. The Cykul's looking for the target and does manage to identify him. A back smack double kill over here toward Blue Pipes is going to keep them in a position to get this potential point there. Nice shot on SnakeBite. Now waiting for another. He knows exactly where they are currently.
These teams are not holding back when it comes to hill time, just being so quick with it. We got a quick and high-scoring game here on King of the Hill. It's not a one-sided affair like we've seen in many of our previous matches.
Yeah, and I'm not mad about it. I do enjoy when a King of the Hill game gets rather contested like this, because it's all about map positioning and being able to, you know, kind of take your opponents where you want them to go and really manipulate the map to the best of your ability. That's why I love watching this game mode in play, especially at this high level.
Yeah, look at this push. Decides to go on towards elevator. Cykul tries to test Frosty one-on-one.
He gets the one shot off of him, though, you know?
Gets the damage. Teammates able to pick it off, and Mental holding down elevator. This is going to be so crucial here for Shopify Rebellion. They're going to be able to try to fight any of these players here from FaZe if they are overextending out in the center just like that. And now World 2 has to decide, do I chase this person over at C? Do I run on over towards the hill? And during this time, Shopify Rebellion going to grab some points. Look at all this time they're wasting back at Hydro to deal with that one player.
Yeah.
Now they have to make their push across Catwalk, and they know the direction it's coming from. It's from Catwalk, or it's going to be from Angler Pit.
These round of slays are going to be really important, and World 2 gets that kill. That actually opens up the elevator side of the map quite nicely with 43 seconds and counting left on the clock. And this is going to be FaZe Clan sitting inside of the Whirlpool, waiting to see if anyone will come in for the challenge. But an unfortunate series of events there, I think, for Rebellion. They were doing a lot of things right, sending 2 players long haul, trying to see if they can isolate a few of those fights and not give them those clean, comfortable engagements. But instead, you just end up seeing a Zerg rush happen on elevator side, and that just led to what you're seeing here. FaZe Clan with a pretty sizable lead and gonna get 3 points.
Yeah, and knowing FaZe, I've heard that they've gone slain before here on Recharge King of the Hill, and that was only after having a 1-0 lead in some previous matches. I could totally see them, after they capture this one, just going to try to slay this one out. But to Shopify Rebellion's credit, they did such a good job on the very first hill of this game that it's going to be a tall order to try to keep them out of this hill this entire time.
Yeah, it really will be. But it is that pit hill all the way bottom mid, which is a really difficult one to hold on to. That stands right now. Frosty knows that there's a target around here, and that's Cykul. But yeah, they're going to continue to slay this one out. There's really no reason for them to try and push this. Cykul knows that the onus is going to be on him to have to make these plays to get inside of there, and that's simply just not going to happen. With 18 seconds left, they got camo as well. All the call-outs coming through. There's just no way for Rebellion to be able to clutch this one up.
Yeah, this one's going to be so tough, and look at this rotation through. Going to get the perfect flank over towards Sneaky. Does get the pick on Rayne, and they can't deal with him just yet. And 5 seconds remaining. You can't fight Royal 2, just a 1-on-1, and that's going to be all of Shopify Rebellion cleared, and game 1 going in favor of FaZe.
Yeah, that was a very, very clean game. I would definitely say from Rebellion at the beginning, and then you started to see a bit of those cracks begin to form, and that's when FaZe just took full advantage of it. And since then, it was all FaZe, full control, playing together, holding hands, and doing exactly what you want to see FaZe Clan do here, Walsh. So that was a clean win for FaZe, but not the cleanest, obviously, because it was still a 3-2. But I definitely felt like at the end there, they had full control of that map.
Yeah, it felt like FaZe really kicked it up. Played really strong at the end, and like you said, it was 2-2 going into that, but FaZe undoubtedly the better team at the end of that one. That's going to be it from me and GB here for game number 1. We'll catch you in a little bit for Solitude Slayer game number 2.
Welcome back, everyone. FaZe Clan up 1-0 against Shopify Rebellion here in our elimination quarterfinal matchup. So much on the line here for these teams to continue their tournament life on the line. We're going to be here, of course, on Solitude. We'll see how this works out for some Slayer action, and big opportunity for Rebellion to get themselves right back into this game, Dave.
Yeah, they have to start off strong here. You do not want to be in a position where you're down 0-2 against FaZe, and at least they got the slays. They're still contesting over near Snipe, so as long as they don't let Frosty run away with that uncontested, they're going to have a chance, and there are the slays coming in from Mental.
Huge plays there, without a doubt. 5-4 currently at the start of the game. Rayne, very clean fight, but that is actually going to lead to Rebellion being able to secure this snipe and putting this pressure. World 2, though, sneaking behind. He hears him. He hears him. He knows exactly where he is, and he's got the help, too. And that was exactly what Rebellion does so well, Walsh, is they hold hands. They play together the entire time. They do not take fights by themselves if they don't have to, and especially when you have someone with a power weapon like that.
Yeah, they're doing such a great job of running together, and I see this happen from time to time where you'll have players, as soon as they notice they have 3 players in one spot, they try to split off, and it's arguable which is the correct decision, because at some point, to get your 3rd player away to a new location where they can be viable in the next battle, there's too much time in there. Some points, if you just have 3 people and you just push right through the hull and fight your way through and dodge the nades and dodge any extra angles, you're fine, as long as you can find the fights and secure them.
And they are certainly doing that. It is a 7-frag lead here in favor of Rebellion. You would not know that, you know, the Rebellion coming into this, and don't get me wrong, you have a lot of big names that are on that Shopify Rebellion team, but they were coming from the open bracket this tournament. What a run this team has been going on, because to play in the open bracket in of itself is challenging, because it's such a gauntlet when you're in the pit like that, and for them to continue to play at this kind of pace and momentum, Walsh, it's just been so impressive.
Yeah, they are just not holding back even against some of the best rosters. I mean, you talk about what teams can beat FaZe, you start to talk about a really short list of teams that you think are even capable of beating FaZe.
Yeah.
And Shopify Rebellion proven that they need to belong on that list. They're putting up a strong fight. They have a huge lead so far this game, and they want to tie up the series. You know that they went back on Saturday night. They said, all right, we lost this really close to Native Red. We could have done some things better. But they're coming in fresh. They know how FaZe plays. They know where they can be more objective efficient, where they can be a little scrappy and squirrely against this roster.
Ooh, I was going to say, speaking of squirrely, Renegade was trying to go for some plays there. The Quantum Translocator was actually ended up getting camped because they knew that he was going to have to TP back. I think they were going to try and make an attempt to pincer on that one too, but it didn't work out for them. That being said, it is FaZe Clan now with snipe control over toward that snipe ledge. 7-kill lead as it stands still for Shopify Rebellion, giving them no space to work with, but perhaps Renegade has something else to say about that. Oh!
Yeah, I think that was a 2-for-1 body shot. But this was going to be the chance for FaZe to really bring this one back because they had sniper, they had so much ammo and so much time to work with, but Shopify Rebellion broke that pretty quickly, despite getting 3 people killed or damaged by that sniper bolt. You figured that would be enough to stop a push from any team, but Shopify Rebellion somehow pushed through and made it successful and got the sniper out of their hands.
Yeah, they certainly needed to do that because, of course, this game could have gotten a bit out of control. FaZe trying to bring this one back. Still down by a little, not a whole lot. I mean, you know, a decent round of slays here, and you're pretty much right back in this game. But of course, if you're Rebellion, you do not want to let that happen. World 2, though, trying to reflect any of those nades that were going to get banked on the ledge. Doesn't quite work out for him, and the lead continues to be sustained here by 6. But FaZe are slowly but surely while chipping away at that. It's just whether or not they're going to be able to do so within time.
Yeah, and it's going to be dependent here in just a moment on this sniper in the hands of Frosty. Frosty taking care of the immediate threat nearby. He's locked in on where Cykul might be over at LR. But this is just going to be what gets FaZe back in this game, potentially ties this up for them if they're not able to deal with this threat of Frosty.
It's actually such a smart call from RyaNoob here, telling the team, hey, we don't have snipe, so there's no reason for us to try and continue to push the snipe area. Let's turtle back in because they're the ones, unfortunately, the Quantum Translocator got camped by Frosty, the right play to make there, and he ends up shutting him down. Now they're going to be within striking distance of 4. But you just keep seeing every time FaZe get closer, they trade another kill. This has just been happening. Rebellion just holding them off as much as they can.
But also isolating those angles where they're not giving these open fights over to Frosty, but they're still able to apply pressure to these other members of FaZe. Now Sniper's out. Not sure if Mental and crew are aware of that, but regardless, the push is on. They are flying over towards Snipe Tower. Cykul being the leading charger over here and outmaneuvered slightly by Renegade over S4.
Oh, actually a big double kill opportunity here for RyaNoob. I thought he was going to be able to get that. Somehow this player has managed to stay alive. Unbelievable stuff. RyaNoob at that point has no other choice but to concede that he just got outplayed.
Those are the frustrating ones where a person's one shot and just gets repulsed away from that first melee.
Looked like he meleeed him too.
Ends up not able to finish that kill. And when someone gets away one shot like that, it is just a heartbreaker. And we are back to essentially an even game here, Golden Boy, as we're in the final stretch.
Unreal stuff that we're seeing. I think one thing that Rebellion were doing so well was the moment that they had targets on someone, if you were getting shot, chances are you were getting shot by 2 BRs. They've been really doing a brilliant job of just playing together the whole time. That being said, what FaZe have been doing is trying to isolate these 1v1s, and it's been working out for them. And that is the reason why they're right back in this, but the credit got to go to Rebellion on this, because with that way that they're approaching the map, they are controlling so much of it together.
And one thing we've seen from FaZe, as these weapons have come up around the sniper, is FaZe seem to park that weapon over at the snipe side.
Yeah,
last time we see Shopify get this, they brought it over towards Loop, they brought it over towards Driveway, they relocate that weapon. And this is going to go so well for them if they stay alive, but players weak, you know FaZe have their eyes set on that sniper, and they're going to be finding a flank and making a push on over.
Yeah, so we're going to get 2 players pushing Tram. They're going to go for a pincer right out of the gate here. Smart play from RyaNoob. He's just peeking around the corner. Another one's going to be hanging out to boot. You have one pushing from the LR tunnel and another one coming from the Tram side. That's going to be Frosty. He's got that QT, so he sends himself right back to safety. And RyaNoob does go down in that whole engagement. Still going to be a 4-kill lead for the Rebellion thus far.
Yeah, Rebellion has the lead. They still have the snipe in their hands, but it's been spotted. They know Mental has it, and it's down to LR. And effectively, not really great use of the snipe. We've seen FaZe be a much bigger threat and presence on the map when they have that weapon. And just picking off heads, getting some body shots, doing so much more damage with it. Let's watch the difference here as Royal 2 has the sniper on LR.
He's going to take his time with this. He's got the game in his hands as well. 4 shots, potentially could be 4 frags, and they're right back in this with a 2-frag lead. Of course, though, if any Rebellion player decides to poke this, they know, and that's why they're just going to play this one out slowly. They might try and bait out a few of these shots just to not make it as much of a threat and prompt the movement from FaZe. But really, again, because they're down, it's going to be on FaZe to have to make these moves happen. And I like that Rayne is just getting a little bit ambitious and pushing up a bit more inside of the dip.
Well, right now, FaZe don't have vision over the center of the map.
Yeah,
Even though they have Sniper, they should be able to take up some top center spots. They should be able to get this gold ledge. They should be able to take up so much more ground. But they're playing scared. They're playing down low, and somehow it's paying off with 2 sniper bullets and 2 headshots coming out of Royal 2.
Yeah, massive kills there from Royal 2. And this is going to give them the lead. I mentioned before, he got 4 bullets on that snipe. He needed 2, and he brought them right back into this game. Rebellion, they were playing so well, but where are they going to find those kills? Where are they going to find that success as they're trading out a few of these, and now we're going to be all tied up. World 2 gets the body shot and the kill, and those snipe shots, when they gave that up mental, that has really affected them at the tail end of this game.
Yeah, we looked at when Shopify Rebellion had a full sniper. We didn't really see any kills come out of that sniper. Royal 2 hitting 3 for 3 shots that we've seen thus far, eventually taken on out. Not sure if there's any ammo left in that weapon, but the damage has been done, and it's 47 all.
SnakeBite is so weak. He's going for the fight, but he's got the help there, Rayne. He's going to hold this one down. 49-48. Where's the spawn going to be coming from, though? Because Mental's going to be taking a fight with 2 players, but he's got help on the cross. He's going to go for this one. RyaNoob's trying to send a grenade over to the other side. Here comes Mental on the push. Identifies one, and it's Rayne who gets the frag. And Rebellion tie up the series 50-48 on that one, 1-1.
Zero fear, zero hesitation there from Shopify Rebellion. They knew the player was weak in the dip. Mental and Rayne just going on both angles, and Mental having one hell of a game. 19 kills against the superstars in FaZe.
It has to be so, it has to feel good for the Gears of War professional players transition over to Halo Infinite. 19 kills for him. And of course, you got to give a lot of credit to Rayne at the end of that game, because his position on Snipe Tower had pretty much set them up and peppered so many shots in those players toward blue. So everything that he was doing, expertly done. Even though he had 2,600, you still got the dub, baby. But that's going to do it for us here. We're going to get ready for map number 3. We're all tied up in the series 1-1. See you on the other side. All right, folks, we are back. Map 3, Shopify Rebellion tied up in this series after an incredible performance from Mental and the rest of Rebellion on Solitude Slayer. We now find ourselves here for some live fire goodness. Oddball, love the mode, love the map. Let's see how this one shakes out.
And that's an interesting challenge there from Rayne. Must have assumed or thought the rest of his team was pushing there, because when Shopify Rebellion get aggressive, they seem to continue that push. And right there, Rayne, despite being outnumbered, figured the play was to challenge there and help the players over at C-Plat.
Yeah, it could have been a miscommunication potentially, but either way, it works out very well for FaZe Clan, because they have just continued to hold on as many points as possible. Also, Overshield's going to be available too, and that leads to Renegade picking it up, courtesy of the Shroud screen, but they nuked his shield as much as they could within that time frame. So it's not going to be that much of a factor here, especially where he's positioned right now.
But it's enough of a comfort factor here where Rayne knows he can't really take this one-on-one straight up, gets the damage down, at least gets to call off the OS, and ball time has been secured. I mean, 28 seconds, let's be real, that's a good amount of points right there at the beginning. I mean, they got the weapons, they got the OS, and now let's see what Shopify can do now that they're on neutral territory, because they don't even have the slays just yet to make any moves.
So Mental brought that ball out over to the pillar door to just kind of put it in a more difficult position, I guess, as well for FaZe to try and go for it. But they were also spawning over on the left side of the map, but we could see 2 members of FaZe. SnakeBite just managed to pick up RyaNoob there. Mental's got his back. SnakeBite's still going to be alive in that one. They're looking for this ball, and they're also looking for these targets. FaZe aren't really making themselves known all that much, and they're trying to just pull as much of the attention and the players out of that cover and the safety. And also, you're seeing, too, they're taking these 1v1 FaZe, and they're winning those every single time. You want Rebellion to really get back to what has been working for them, which is grouping up and then just pushing forward, holding W.
And they've made it such difficult decisions here for FaZe to know where Shopify Rebellion should go. As an example, during that last play where Renegade was back green, you saw the indecisiveness from that Shopify Rebellion player. They were like, do I go hunt down Renegade or at back green? Do I charge towards pillars? And it's such a difficult spot to be in, because you get shot in the back if you don't clear them out. You're wasting time going the opposite side of the map if you do go clear them out. It's just a really difficult spot. So great positioning there from Renegade during that last setup.
Now, of course, with 42 points on the board and good plays that FaZe are making, it's going to be quite a bit for Rebellion to have to get this comeback. Good call-outs there for Royal 2. He knew exactly where to receive Mental when he fell down that little rabbit hole. And this will continue to be blue team, Holden, making sure that they can get that 50-point threshold cross, which is quite a comfortable place to be in. And also, they're really not challenging them all that much. Great map control by FaZe, just putting Rebellion a little bit in their place here.
Yeah, they're just playing so well. And one thing I'm also just noticing is, for kind of one of the first times, or not the first times, but in recent history, I always remember SnakeBite being the main ball carrier for FaZe. And we're now seeing everyone else pick up that slack before. So
I think that comes down to that objective efficiency that we've been talking about, right? Like, it can't just be one person. In these modes, don't get me wrong, there is always going to be that one player that prioritizes that particular thing a little bit more. But when you have the opportunity, you got to grab the ball. You got to hold it. Even the garbage time could play huge role for you in the long run.
Well, yeah, you see 3 huge chunks of time from Frosty, Renegade, and Royal 2 grabbing that ball, holding steps, not rotating that and giving it towards SnakeBite or something like that. Instead, they're just grabbing the ball and doing what needs to be done as a squad, and you're seeing them come out far ahead because of it.
Now let's see how much value they're going to be able to gain out of this one. Thankfully for RyaNoob, he had the repulsor as well as the oddball, so that would have been a really difficult one for him to try and snipe in the middle of the air, but it does work out though. SnakeBite as well with another overshield, and that's going to be, I believe, 2 to the Rebellion's 1. And when Rebellion got it, they did manage to actually get the 30 seconds that you see on the board. The problem is all that other map control, that's been FaZe this whole time.
Yeah, FaZe had the map control, but it's not like they've been outslaying heavily.
True.
It's really close in the slaying department. It's like 5 or 6 kills between these two teams, yet every single time FaZe has been trading out kills, they've been putting time on the board as they have 97, 98, 99, put it up to 100 by Royal 2. And what a impressive effort there from FaZe, not needing to heavily outslay and handily winning round 1 of Oddball.
And it was really just the way that FaZe approached that, right? They would get the ball carrier would be by himself. When you look at the outlines from the rest of the players, they're so far ahead because they're just trying to stop them right at their spawn, meet them right where they're coming out from. It's such a smart way to approach the map. And if anything, it just goes to show, like, FaZe on this live fire, like the work that they've been putting in is so impressive to just really lock down Rebellion like that.
Yeah, look at this. SnakeBite just decided to anchor back here, let his teammates do some work over at tower, but now he's kind of out of the fight. He tries to maneuver as quick as he can on over, grabs the OS, and as long as FaZe stay alive, you know SnakeBite is coming to help, and they will control this tower area.
And that's just yet another one of those overshields going away for Rebellion and going in the hands of FaZe.
How many OSs have we seen even Rebellion get? I don't know if they've gotten one.
Yeah, Mental picked up 1, and that led to the 30 seconds last round. Outside of that, it has been a pure shutdown from FaZe Clan. They really haven't allowed them to get past those important parts of the map and establish any kind of positioning. Like, for example, they when they have the ball on this side of the map, you'll notice members of FaZe actually push up more toward like mid and nest or even on the outside. But right now, the fight seems to be going in Rebellion's favor here, so you're going to have to frag this one out and hold it for the time being, but they have the numbers around that ball to do so. Here comes Royal 2 with the heat wave. He's got 1. He's looking for a second, but his teammate's there for the backup. I thought it was. Never mind. Either way, this is just going to be try as you might. Mental couldn't get away from that. But look at where they're playing, Dave.
Yeah. These spawns over at green are actually paying off very good for FaZe Clan. They're able to get these spawns at green, run them fall towards nest, and just continue to hold this time. They just have the flanks that they need. They're not all getting trapped at one area on tower. And look at that great rotation towards green. Yeah,
I was going to comment on that, as well as the repulsor play that we saw. It has been really awesome to watch our pro players take advantage of the utility and the equipment in this game. Those repulsors and the deflecting of nades, I don't think we've seen that many. Like, I know we've seen quite a few, but oh boy, this has been really fun to watch.
And Renegade just rotating it back and forth, faking it towards garage, getting it back towards green, in a spot where he can play ball if he needs to. Looks like he's going to continue rotating even towards nest. Did he get a little too overzealous there? Nope, gets the play ball. Exactly what his team needed from him, as they have a 50-2 lead here on round 2.
And you know, it sounds a little absurd, but I wonder if it's because it just makes sense. Give the ball to Renegade, he'll survive those 1v1 fights. He has the wits about him to be able to drop that ball and take that challenge when he needs to. So I think this is actually pretty damn good from what we're seeing from this squad, right? Like, even here, he's backing up. He's making sure that no one's like trying to just get free space on him, and then he just continues to rotate this ball. This is honestly a masterclass.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, he's been playing it perfect with the ball, but it's quite odd to say, hey, one of your best slayers, have them hold the ball.
But you also have Frosty and Royal 2 on your team.
I mean, regardless, Renegade.
I mean, I don't disagree.
Renegade is godlike in this game.
Oh, man. There are some cool evolutions that we are seeing from FaZe. And let's not forget, I mean, this team, SnakeBite, he's one of the captains who really likes to try the best, bring out the best from his players. And maybe this is just something that Renegade and SnakeBite had identified, and they're like, let's just go ahead and do this because it's gotten them 78 points on the board. Shopify haven't even been in this match yet, Dave.
No, and it's not like they haven't been getting some kills. They've been getting some solid kills. You have Sniper over top tower. They need to win one of these fights and actually secure the ball, but feels like every single time FaZe spawn, they've been doing a great job like getting these spawn flanks and pushing over from green or holding it down at green.
Good attempt on the juke there by Renegade. Good width to bottom now. Rebellion do have a sniper in their possession. I believe that is RyaNoob over in the back corner. It is, and he's got to nail these shots. He's got his teammate there as well. This is going to be another clean kill for them. They also have some weakened players pushing inside of there too, so they do have the numbers inside, but they got to get this one because it's going to be so difficult for them to come back into this 83-6 and counting.
Well, they have a garage step if they want to try to hold a full setup. Frosty somehow scrapping up another 10 points or so there in a situation where he should be absolutely dead. He was one shot in bottom center and says, I'm going to fake rotate towards pillars and then rotate back towards garage. So all the scrappy time that you generally expect to have a squad like Shopify Rebellion is coming out of FaZe. I've been incredibly impressed with them so far this game.
But of course, it's not done yet. Rebellion doing everything they can to bring themselves back into this one. Frosty making himself a difficult target to hit here for RyaNoob, who just couldn't quite find the mark on his opponent. And he's getting pressured as well, so he's going to need to bail out of this and survives long enough for his teammates to back him up. Exactly what you want to see, and he gets work done with that snipe. A body shot's more than enough, and that's going to give them a mud setup here with the ball.
Yeah, ball in play here. Now, I don't know if they want to force this rotation, but it looks like Shopify decides to. They feel like they have the numbers, and they don't want to wait for the push to come in from FaZe, so they bring the action to him right over in the garage and get the kills. That can be a risky play.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to let the opposing team have to make the push across the map, and it seems like they're just trying to force a garage step. Now they're nowhere near where they can play the ball. They had it over at green. They had it over tower. They could have played ball here, and now it's going to come down to whoever gets the slays.
Still have plenty of time left, but we have to see if this play could have been a blunder for Shopify Rebellion. So far, it has not been looking great for them, but now they're going to go for the rotation here into the tunnel. No! Beautifully done by Royal 2. Another repulsor sticky from his opponent's nade. And the ball is going to be located down low.
Frosty and Renegade keeping eyes over here at the OS. Renegade's about to just jump right on top of the second pops up. He knows that there's action nearby. Can he get it? He uses the shroud. He jumps up a little early and gets the full OS, and you know he's going to be clearing out some players here. Mental, crouch walking, shooting with all his might to take off as much shield as he can.
Yeah, he got a fair amount of it, but ultimately it is going to be a ball grabbed by FaZe Clan. Big pressure starting to come through from bottom mid. Royal 2's there for the backup, as well as Renegade when he had obtained the objective briefly. You got a player circling by pillar, maybe one more by Ness, and you see that other guy over there by the house, so that just gets handled quickly. And I thought we were going to see that player potentially on mud, but it doesn't seem like that was going to come to fruition. Ball's held, and this looks like it's going to be FaZe walking away 2-1 in the series.
Yeah, also poetic fashion, the man who's normally doing most of the ball time here ends up having the least and closing out the game. It's going to be Captain SnakeBite getting those last 15 points on the board.
He won the game for them.
To give FaZe a 2-1 lead here in the series.
SnakeBite's going to go back to his teammates and be like, guys, you see, I was doing objective
I
work.
got crushed at the
15
end.
points. I was nailing this.
Or he's going to say, hey, look, when I'm not the one that has to grab the ball, look at what happens. We crush. We absolutely crush. That's right. Keep picking up the ball.
When I get the dub, we win games no matter what. But, wow, great game there as we take a gander here at the stats. But something to be said about the way the Renegade approached that live fire. A Slayer-heavy player, but yet playing the objective. It's an interesting situation, but I guess when you have those four players, you can kind of mix and match that, Dave.
Absolutely, but we're going to have to see if Shopify Rebellion can bring this one back. Their tournament life at stake here. They're down 2-1 in the series, and they're going to have to bring it back here in game number 4, which is Argyle CTF. We'll catch you in a few.
FaZe Clan up 2-1 here in the series. Elimination quarterfinals. Win, you move on in the tournament. Lose, and your run ends here, and you have to wait for the Halo World Championship in October. Golden Boy alongside with Walshy here as we're catching all the action, and it's Argyle CTF, so you're expecting things to be a little slow at the start here.
We were hoping so, but RyaNoob and crew, I believe it's RyaNoob and Rayne, pushing all the way over towards the FaZe sniper, trying to be aggressive. But look at this, slipping right through the enemy defenses. Frosty putting pressure of his own.
Rayne, though, had his teammates back to pick up Frosty. 2 players, top mid now. Big challenge coming through here, and actually an even bigger win for
I thought he
Renegade.
fell off as well.
I genuinely thought Renegade was actually just going to bail from that fight and reposition, but instead went back for the challenge. Very impressive there from Renegade, who's been great all series long. Of course, I expect nothing less from one of the best players in the game. And Mental, though, trying to channel his old Gears of War days with the long shot. This time he's got the S7. He's hoping he can find a target, but SnakeBite's going to look to punish him. And there's Renegade on the flank, and that leads to a flagpole. And just look at the purpose of which this FaZe team ran with this. They got into the base and grabbed that right away to just try and pull these players back.
RyaNoob trying to poke back out and get a stop. A Royal2 watching his teammates back, and flag down over here at Magnum. Frosty's going to continue running. And I feel like we haven't really seen this from FaZe perfectly in the past. I don't know if they've changed anything, or maybe they're just clicking a little bit more today, but they have been relentless on this OBJ.
Well, it also just feels like a big part of what we've been, preaching and talking about here, Dave, is that, you want to see teams just push and have intent on a lot of these pushes. And FaZe, if there's a team to pull that off time and time again, it would be them, because of that confidence that they push those sites with. So I really do feel as if with this 4 down, this is opening up an opportunity for FaZe yet again, and they have been in a good amount of control this map.
They don't know this player's over on the snipe. Gets surprised by Cykul. See if it comes back to bite him.
Well, I think that repulse helped him.
Yeah, great job by Cykul there. And looks like defense has been almost good. All right, gets the shot, gets the ski shot over onto SnakeBite. But I'm not sure what's going on with the sniper, if it's been snagged, but does not matter, as I believe Royal2 has the new FaZe sniper guarding that flag and just watching, knowing somebody's going to poke on over there as soon as they feel like they have a moment.
He's just got to be careful as well, because, he's dialed in on that, but it's always going to be a bit risky in those situations. Halo's a game where you got to be moving around a fair amount.
Got to be doing more action across the map.
Yeah.
And yes, that pays off once that player goes over towards that snipe, but if nobody does, which seems like he's able to get one bullet off, it feels like Royal2 essentially left his teammates in a 3v4.
Yeah, and also I do understand why he might not want to go and grab that snipe. Oh, he's gonna.
He didn't trigger it. He clearly was assuming he was going to get off his QT.
Yeah.
And somehow did not get the equipment off.
Yeah, that was the play to make right there. But now the snipe's going to go to Cykul's very capable hands. You have 2 players for Rebellion pushing up. Frosty's pinned in the back of the base now. Here comes the underground push from Mental and company. Looking for these targets, but SnakeBite wise to it and poked at the perfect time. And they heard when that push was going to come through and timed those nades effectively. But this is going to be an opportunity for Shopify Rebellion to make this flagpole reality, and they do so. But this will have to prompt FaZe Clan for that overextension on the opposite side of the map.
Royal2, the biggest stopper right here, eventually gets taken out over at the Magnum. Now all these spawning members of FaZe are going to have to push out from their own snipe side and push across the opposite lane.
Right now, it's only going to be Frosty. Big fight here. 2 players to help. Can't get much out of that one. Ideally, you would have been able to take out one of those players, but you were by yourself in that situation, so there isn't really much that you could have gotten done realistically. But that is going to lead to 1 flag cap there for Shopify Rebellion. And I was a little worried about them coming out of that live fire game. I thought that maybe the momentum had really shifted and that Rebellion just lost a little bit of that gas that they had in game 1, but it seems as if they're picking things up.
Oh my God, RyaNoob is going to grapple and make it all the way back and then get punished. You're just like, thankfully safety. Kind of like one of those videos you see where like they release the mouse, like, go home to your forest, my friend, and then just a owl swoops in and takes it out.
He's like, guys, don't worry, I'm gonna survive. He kept the grapple hook, and he's like, guys, I live, guys, I'm alive. That was it. Hey, I love to see those moments, though, and good heads-up play as well by Renegade to just punish RyaNoob. And that player who's always staying alive, it's always going to be a problem there. He got the stick. He didn't get the stick, but he is going to combine the snipe ammo, though. And I will say, you combine that snipe ammo, you just got to be a little careful. You don't want to give up all that ammunition to the other team. The Rayne's going to start this run. Here comes some of the members. Renegade with a big kill. And also SnakeBite now. He's got this flag on the move. He's bringing it across. He's so clean with this run.
Both flags moving, and I feel like I favor Shopify Rebellion in this situation. They have the better position. They have someone on the back flag here. SnakeBite desperately trying to stay alive with a snipe, and you know RyaNoob's going to jump on that recove. You know he's going to be going for that. RyaNoob is not able to, though. And look at all these battles going back to the base. Feels like they're having some separate battles there as Mental gets taken out. Frosty trying to get the recov. And here comes the crucial play. Can RyaNoob stop this cap? And tries to toss it out, but that's not going to be enough.
I wonder what the game plan was outside of just bringing it to the back to just pull them further aside there. Maybe this is going to open things up for them because a few of these kills are coming in. You got 2 players, 3 players down for FaZe. That one play, I was trying to like piece together what was going on. They couldn't get to a comfortable position to make the recovery happen, so instead they had to just frag out as long as they could. Ended up getting 3 down, and the flag gets returned.
Somehow bought enough time
so
there. I don't know. That was just amazing execution.
Like, whether it was by mistake or not, that was just a great play.
Yeah, it felt like they're a bit disconnected and uncoordinated there as you had separate battles going on. You had Mental fighting back at the base. RyaNoob uncertain if he should help back at the base or go help get the flag grab and move it across. And somehow, in the end, works out as all the members of Shopify Rebellion go flying across the map and get the necessary slays at the very end.
Yeah, just look how absurd it is that Mental was getting pinned, and then he immediately called out, "I'm getting shot right where you are, Cykul." And then Cykul just turns around so quickly and just melts him as fast as he possibly could. It's that kind of help that Rebellion give themselves. And on top of that, you also have self-reliant players like RyaNoob that do a brilliant job of this right here, locking down an area of the map and just being a pain in the butt to deal with.
Not just that, but he takes out Frosty, who had a full sniper with 10 bullets. SnakeBite trying to pull a scrappy pull all the way across the map. Gets taken out by the sniper. And that's 3 down again. Frosty, only 1 alive. But let's be real, Frosty's been having a rough game so far. Even moments where he starts to get something going, he gets flanked, he gets taken out when he has those weapons.
Yeah.
He only has 3 kills to his name. They are doing a great job of shutting Frosty down so far in Argyle CTF, and RyaNoob picking off SnakeBite as he spawns.
Another clean run here for the Rebellion, and they go up 2-0. FaZe now kind of in a bad position, a really bad position, because Argyle is the type of map that is not for the faint of heart, and you will be more than likely losing to time in most games here. But for Rebellion, they have optimized their routes, and they are playing so well on Argyle that they might even try and end this one in just with caps.
We shall see. I mean, it's going to be tough, but now that Shopify Rebellion has the luxury, oh, that's going to be a lag out, and we will figure out what is happening on this replay. So we'll wait to hear from the TOs, and we'll be back shortly with a replay of game number 4.
Need 1 flag to close this out and send us to a game 5.
And just in case you're just joining us as well, welcome along to the Bravo stream here. As you can see on the scoreboard, it is FaZe Clan up 2-1 in the series. Now on the aggregate score, with Shopify with 2 flags on the board already, that makes things interesting here. Shopify is poised to send this to a game number 5 as long as they continue playing the same way they have been.
Yeah, 100%. It's going to be very interesting to see if FaZe can find a way around this. And not a lot of time to play with. We just watched somewhat of an epic battle between Quadrant and Space Station on the main stage, where it took double overtime for them to get that first flag on the board. So tough situation for FaZe to find themselves in here.
Certainly. And you could tell just based on the number of flags on the board, and they only have 8 minutes to do it. You have to think it's a tall task against a team like Shopify when you're down 2-0. A 1-0 game or a 12-minute game would be 2 very different scenarios. This is going to need to be FaZe playing very quickly. On the other side, though, Mental brings us a great point and a great note that as long as they play their midpoint defense and continue aggressing into the FaZe base, they will be set up pretty well for what should be now only 7 minutes of comfortable mid-map control.
Yeah, interesting what they actually do here, because they had pretty much a fresh 4 dead. You can see that Renegade is fresh off the respawn, but it doesn't look like they're, surprisingly, I should say not so surprisingly, too hasty to pull that flag themselves and give a few deaths away. They just want to hold the map at the moment, and if you wanted an obnoxious team to go up against a hold a 2-flag lead, I don't think you'd have to look much further than Shopify.
Yeah, we've been told that RyaNoob has been up to his RyaNoob tricks, unsurprising on a map like this. Build a Forge map and RyaNoob will find 10 different ways to be the most annoying player in the game on it, and that's certainly what he's been doing here. If you didn't catch the earlier games, it was FaZe taking game 1. That was Recharge King. Solitude Slayer went to Shopify Rebellion, and Live Fireball did go the way of FaZe, but as we said, 2-0 lead here on aggregate score for Shopify and Argyle CTF.
SnakeBite trying to get up the map at the moment, but every single time that you're seeing a couple of kills go down, it seems like it's defensive kills from Shopify. Frosty does have that flag moving momentarily. It's a bit of a QT trail, sending 1 player back up to the vents. Good cover fire coming in here, and I'll tell you what, there's an opportunity here for FaZe to maybe score, unless RyaNoob can do what he needs to do to get his team back on the map. That's exactly what he seems to have done, but Royalty and Renegade now making their move. Can they get the return? RyaNoob does it, times it perfectly, but FaZe still with pressure here.
Really well done by RyaNoob. You noticed that he was there for the return, but he stayed outside the circle to just get enough, and then stayed alive so that the flag actually returned on time because enough reset progress had been done there. It's an easy play in hindsight, however RyaNoob makes sure to execute.
Always thinking one step ahead of the situation. A lot of people thinking, I need to get the flag back home. RyaNoob thinking, what's the most efficient way to do it?
Yeah.
Keep myself in this game for as long as possible. Pulls it off perfectly. SnakeBite with some really nice shots there as well. As Frosty can't quite connect. ran out of web. Lots of things.
Wow. Cykul and Rayne there, just that is a tag team combo there. When your friend needs some help in the vent, you just hit a quick little body shot to make sure you make quick work of them. That was a minor man advantage from Shopify. Renegade can't connect with the head either. A little bit of QT left for Rayne.
Yeah, not much time left here for FaZe though. You can see that clock is dwindling down. And Rayne just more than happy.
Paranoid.
Whoa. I would be paranoid as well. That 2 players flying out. Speaking of flying, there goes SnakeBite with that grapple. And with that kill coming in there for Shopify Rebellion. It's a 2v2 on the map. Frosty trying to keep the pressure on. Has no choice. Tries to do so. So it looks like Shopify managed to stabilize once more.
Nice job from RyaNoob. Take a look how he sits base, right? If you sit back, you can really get pinched back. He's confident, but angling himself away, isolating the battle. So he sits on flag to do the damage to force the player bottom. Then he even checks if Frosty's going to come backstairs, and then he continues to challenge really while keeping his shield. They got to be careful, though, right? That's the second time that RyaNoob has been your last player alive, and he has converted on both times. Still 4 minutes left here, where RyaNoob really can't be the last line of defense time and time again.
Very, very true. I think I want to talk about as well is what a run this has been, by the way, from Shopify Rebellion.
Yeah.
We saw the team change come through. This is pre-SLC, of course, when they picked up Cykul. There was a lot of, was this the right move? They just dropped Karmea, who had some flashes of brilliance for sure when he was on the squad, but you can see that now they've had a little bit of time to gel, and RyaNoob's got his claws and his locks into him, and just kind of molded him into the player that he needs to be on this squad. But it's a real advance in how they've been playing this game, and the success is coming.
3 dead here. You have a spawner here, bottom base. It's going to be Frosty. The flag run's going to start. They force SnakeBite to play the snipe as well. It's going to be another 3 dead. Here comes the push. This should be a run here.
Could be a run, should be a run, might be a run. Last 2 players are taken down to no shields, but you can see as well, there's no urgency really here from Shopify Rebellion. They're not over-committing for it. Cykul just thinking, hey, what's the most important thing for me to do right here? It's not cap a flag, it's to win the game. I'll keep the sniper in my hands. Nice stick coming in from Rayne as well. And again, 50-yard line just defended.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. That run could have been a little bit different. Right? If they turn the corner with that flag, you're going to force SnakeBite out, and I think they could have had a sniper watching that turn as you go to engine. However, I think you're right. They're not taking chances that they don't need to with a 2-0 lead, and now as you look at the clock dwindling, less than 3 minutes left in this replay.
Really trying to be aggressive, but getting these players out of the back of the base with the way that Argyle is designed is such a frustrating map sometimes to try and get back-to-back slays. Even when you get a fresh 4 dead, you know that the players are coming off a respawn with grenades. You can use those ramps to just ramp straight up onto the flag stand, and it's almost impossible to get the flag off the move. I think the most difficult thing to do is actually get the flag outside of the base the first time, around one of those corners, and then you do have a chance. But Ryan with some more perfect shots onto Frosty, and I tell you what, Ryan looks like he's cooking at the moment.
I really love the defensive positioning that we're seeing from Shopify. Now, it's easier to do when you have the 2 flag lead, but they are consistently challenging once again from the back of the flag, not the back ramp, but on the flag platform, which makes it very difficult for players to push up through your plasmas, and then they have built mid-map control from that. Now, less than 2 minutes left. As a reminder, the clock will stop at 4 minutes left in regulation in this replay, and with 2 flags needed for FaZe, we are looking like we're going to a game number 5.
Mental just making sure nobody sneaks through as well. You can see this positioning. That's kind of like the only sneaky way maybe that someone might get forward, but it's actually now inside the FaZe base. He's going to be trying to slide this one out, and again, FaZe probably thinking, hey, the last thing we want is to know that our flag is away when we're so desperate to get them ourselves. In a 1v1, and Mental wins that one as well, and that's a couple of battles we've seen Frosty fall. 1-12 in this game, a very uncharacteristic performance.
Really great bait from Mental. Mental actually tosses the flag immediately, drops back ramp, catches Frosty off guard. It's a really nice play. Both flags are out, though.
Both flags are out, but this is better news for Shopify Rebellion than anyone. A flag standoff for them is perfect. It means they can just burn more time off of this clock. Cykul gets one as well. FaZe are 3 dead.
Should get a re
This
here.
might be game.
This should be game right here. That flag is going to re, and that's going to be it.
Flag does go in. We're going to a game 5 here between Shopify Rebellion and FaZe Clan. So, Sit yourselves down, everybody. Get comfortable. We'll be back in a few moments, but Game 5 just around the corner.
Going to be Aquarius Slayer. We'll see you then.
All right, everybody, welcome back. We've got a Game 5 for you. A little treat here on a Sunday between FaZe Clan and Shopify Rebellion. We've already had some upsets this tournament, and I think this would rank right up there if Shopify Rebellion knock FaZe out of the tournament, keep their run going.
Man, would it ever. And the question here for not just FaZe, but really everyone watching, us included, is what Shopify Rebellion, what version of the slaying Shopify Rebellion is going to get here? Because historically, Shopify Rebellion has been one of the most obnoxious slaying teams. However, we've kind of seen an ebb and a flow over the 2 years of Halo Infinite. Sometimes their slayers are incredible, right? Remember the two-man pushes on Bazaar, the timing calls, the timing plays that come out from RyaNoob and Best Man teaming up for Big Brain Halo. What are we going to see here? FaZe knows their tournament lives are on the line.
We'll start off with the point of view of Royal 2, and I just wonder how this game is going to be played pace-wise. Is it going to be fast? Is it going to be slow? Is it going to be one of those games that gets out of control very, very quickly? Well, Royal 2 finding the heat wave uncontested, somewhat of a surprise, as RyaNoob will be the first player to fall.
What an interesting slow start here. Neither team wanting to be the one that makes the mistake, so rather than flying out and really having all guns forward, instead, we see things really off to an admittedly awkwardly slow start in this Aquarius Slayer. This is not very customary for anyone who's played the game, knows exactly what we're talking about. We are 2-2 with 45 seconds almost to play.
Yeah, it's almost as if both teams have decided this is our half, this is your half.
Yep.
But it will be FaZe with a tiny little lead. Royal 2 finally sees the trigger to push. He's got that QT as well, so he's got a little bit extra freedom. And look at that kill feed. It lights up in the colors of FaZe, which is blue in this particular circumstance. 6-2 the score. They have a 4-kill advantage now. Shopify all trapped in the back of blue base.
Really impressive from FaZe. Can they do it again here? Already with a 4-kill lead, they are playing systematic Halo. We'll see if they can keep it up. Here comes the push.
Oh, big stick from Renegade. Cykul, usually when you play catch, you want to be the player who doesn't drop the ball, but this time, not what you want to be doing. Royal 2 picks up 2, Frosty picks up another. That's 4 dead for Shopify Rebellion. They just got trapped in the back of the base, and we saw at the previous event, FaZe did that and somehow came out of it with trades. Well, Shopify Rebellion did not trade at all there.
It was perfect. That's also answered back, though, by a big win there. They needed that first kill, did Shopify.
Rayne trying to break out here as well. Gets that first kill to get them out, gets the second kill, the third kill.
Wow.
That's 3 in a row for Rayne, and all of a sudden the pace has been picked up, and it's 4 dead for FaZe. So FaZe misstepping, maybe a little bit of overconfidence after the previous clean wipe of Shopify in the back of that base.
What an incredible series of events there. FaZe was, as we said, absolutely perfect. Back-to-back 4 deads, they lead 5-10 now. Just like that, it's 11-9 because of good pre-nades in the connector. FaZe just checking the gen a little bit too fast.
Cykul spots out Renegade as well, who did get that initial first kill. To keep this at a 2-kill difference, Frosty now stepping up a little bit. Renegade on the hunt. Does have that heat wave as well, and the heat wave's such a difference maker. As we always talk about on this map, you've seen Trippy with it, you've seen the likes of Renegade with it. You can go on so many good runs with this weapon. It's so devastating at so many ranges, but he gets baited in. A little bit of a solo play there that came in. Maybe just needed a bit more damage before fully committing to that.
Like what I saw from Cykul, to thrust away from the Heatwave player like that really opened up that pink side for him. He's alone here, though. This is going to be very difficult for him to stay alive.
Thank you, Frosty worked very hard for it, though. Renegade finally does clean him out with that frag grenade. 17-12 the score. FaZe have got that little bit of a lead. Now, if you had to pick a team in the whole of Halo history to win a Game 5 to keep their tournament lives alive, it's probably going to be FaZe. The amount of times, Andy, that they've had to rely on Slayers this season to get them out of awkward situations it's a worry, I would say, at this point, and they find themselves there here again.
What I love here, too, you're seeing it on display as they pick up their 20th kill. They're slowly continuing to win these big, big battles. This is not tick-for-tat. This is not tic-tac-toe. They're making sure each time they're getting something like a 3 or 4 dead, and that's reflected on the scoreboard. You know, FaZe is understanding just how much is on the line here as they now lead 22-15.
Look at Renegade go 10-5 in this game at the moment for FaZe Clan. On the other side of things is Rayne, like we saw, who picked up those big kills to get Shopify back into the game, who's leading the way. He's 7-5 at the moment as we do see him taken down momentarily. Cykul trying to clean up the damage, but look at the baiting and switching here from FaZe. And Cykul, no shields, knows he can't challenge because there's 2 players there. Royal 2 accepts. And now you're seeing that lead start to extend it.
Really is. Help comes in there as well, some extra shots. 26-17. And FaZe now maybe feeling like, okay, we have a point now where we don't need to rely on this slower gameplay and needing 3 or 4 deads. They might even start to trade a little bit more here up the pace.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see how Shopify play this, because we talk about how Aquarius Slayer can be quite a mental game, right? You do have these big swings. but we know there's the possibility, and we've seen it many, many times now on Aquarius player, where you can put the run of 10 kills pretty much without response together yourselves. So Shopify are going to have to play together here, play tight, look for that 4 dead. If they can find it once, there is a way back into the game for them.
Was a momentary 2v2. 9 kill difference now separating these two. After being just a 2-kill game at the 10-8 mark, it has been an enormous swing for FaZe Clan as they continue scoring.
Couple of kills though, being picked up here for Shopify. And there is the 4 dead. So all of a sudden I'm interested. My eyebrows are raised because it's a 6-kill game. And Frosty, such an important kill for him just to get the rest of FaZe back on the map and allow them to take positions without being in a situation where they're all pinned in on spawn.
Back base spawns come in. This is perhaps the biggest push of the game here. Does this game become a 10-kill deficit, or does it go back within 5? That's the question here.
See how this one plays out. Rayne and Renegade have fallen. RyaNoob is trying to keep pressure on. He's going to get pushed here, and he could feel the RyaNoob senses starting to tingle a little bit there. He gets out as quick as possible, but nobody there to support him in that decision. Cykul finally manages to get that trade, but FaZe turn a 4 dead situation into a 4 dead for Shopify Rebellion.
And there's the answer. We were wondering what way that would go. It was a 7-kill difference. It goes the way of a 10-kill difference now because FaZe wins another clean 4 dead after a series of trades. And as you said, FaZe is just looking absolutely dominant right now. They're going to continue playing here, and with a 10-kill lead, they know the game is really in their hands here. It's only theirs to lose.
SnakeBite just gets surprised by 2 players who pop out of that fridge. Frosty's going to be there to support him. Nades flying in, and they know where they are. Now, how do they try and take him down? Well, the challenge is going to come in. There's Frosty for the cleanup, and now RyaNoob's left in a 2v1. Ain't going to win that one. SnakeBite slides in for his second in that little passage of play. And FaZe are very, very close to closing this game out already. Just a few moments ago, Andy, we were talking about, is this going to be a 2-kill game? Is it going to be a 5-kill game? Well, now it's an enormous difference between the two. It's 40-27, and we might be thinking about steak dinner.
Yeah, especially with the 41. That's the opener coming in for FaZe. Whether or not steaks on the menu right now, it would need to be a Herculean effort and a complete crumble of the FaZe strategy. And I got to be honest, when you talk about the players on FaZe, it just doesn't seem likely at this stage. They will now be at 43-28.
I was talking about how FaZe need to get their marketing team and their design team on a couple of t-shirts. One that says late game composure and one that says game 5 kings. Because they're here again, 6 kills away from closing out a game 5 where they were down in the series. They looked like it was going to be another really, really tough test for them. Well, it's another test that they're passing, but I think coming out of this series, Andy, if they can close this game out, of course 6 kills still to go, they've got to look at those objective game types because they cannot keep relying on these game 5 slayers.
Absolutely not.
Well, maybe they can.
It's true. So far it's working out for them. More damage coming across from Royal too, but tell you what, in a game 5, FaZe with the level of ice that they have, these are not 4 players that you want to go up against, and you can just imagine the intensity that has been in the comms in this game 5 to have them leading this way. Just like that. See if this kill comes in the back of the base. 48-31, 2 kills to go.
2 kills to go here for FaZe, and it will be yet another game 5 win for them that keeps their run in the elimination bracket going. It's Frosty who gets the final one. It's 16-7 for Frosty. Quite the turnaround from that game 4 for him. And it will be FaZe Clan who win that game 5 to move on in the tournament.
I also got to say, that's the first time I've ever seen our main stage and our featured stage end on the exact same moment as Optic Gaming also wins on the main stage.
Oh, rumble in my buttocks.
It's their game. FaZe will win the series on the featured station. It might be the first time in about 20 years of competitive history I have seen both stages end a game on the same exact time. FaZe and Optic will win theirs, but for FaZe, it's a series win.
We live in a simulation, everybody. Everything is weird. Anyway, 50-32 is the final score. It'll be a game 5 win for FaZe. Like I mentioned, they'll keep their tournament lives alive, but I got to give a lot of credit as well to Shopify Rebellion. I think they've really improved tournament to tournament, looking forward to what they can do at Worlds. Looking at the damage, it's Renegade and Royal 2 leading the way. Frosty sandwiched in between the two with a nice amount of damage himself.
Certainly. And I have to say, not only is that going to do it for this series here as FaZe will move on and Shopify will be sent home, but you and I are going to have a little bit more action on this stage as well in a bit.
I'm going to stay comfy because we ain't moving anywhere. Don't worry about it, everyone. We'll be right back in just a few.